Every Gen Xer can point to a favorite novelty or toy line that has stood the test of time and is still popular with kids today. And while it's hard to dismiss the sheer number of timeless products that were introduced during our childhood, the generation before us did create some classics that I doubt will ever go out of style. I mean, the boomers gave us Silly Putty, the Slinky, X-Ray Specs, the Magic 8-Ball, and this guy, Wooly Willy.
Beards are so ugly.
Hey!
Oh, relax, Wooly Willy. There's lots of fun things you can do with that.
Believe it or not, they're still being made today, and the design is relatively unchanged. However, as much as I love this retro look, I think we can give this toy the patented Art Lab revindication makeover. I'm Scott Serkland, to the Art Lab. Let's suit up. Here we are back in the Art Lab where we put a unique twist on classic collectibles, ephemera, and nostalgia. Whether that's creating our own monster cereal mascot based on classic Universal monsters, or Slaughter Pops based on famous slasher movie villains. One type of monster that we have yet to tackle is cryptids. I mean, there are so many to choose from. Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, Chupacabra, the Jersey Devil, but I think the obvious choice for a Wooly Willy style activity is the granddaddy of all cryptids, Bigfoot. So, what do you say we get started? Call him Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, Skunk Ape, depending on what region you're from. They all have something in common. They're all very large, very hairy versions of the proverbial missing link. You know the famous blurry photo of Bigfoot sneaking through the forest? You've seen the memes, reigning hide-and-seek champion, believe in yourself when no one else does. The pose is iconic, so that's the image I'm going to base my design on. I'll begin with some rough sketches in Clip Studio Paint. The problem with this photo is it's too grainy to make out any detail of what Bigfoot looks like. So I'm going to search for additional reference in artist renderings. Okay, upon further research, I discovered this picture. Apparently, I'm not the first person to come up with this idea. I could continue and, try to design my own version of this and try to improve on it, but the people who designed this activity, they did a pretty good job. Honestly, I was considering just scrapping the whole idea, so I set the project aside. But then I had an epiphany, an idea way better than my original Bigfoot idea. As I was playing around with my Wooly Willy, insert whatever jokes you want here, I noticed something. The metal filings appeared to resemble a swarm of bees. I think you see where I'm going with this.
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Oh, my eyes! My eyes! Ah!
So now we're going to shift focus and create a Wooly Willy-like activity based on the 2006 remake of The Wicker Man starring Nicolas Cage. And while technically this version came out after the Gen X period we typically focus on, you know how much I love bad movies. I've even made a few videos based on my bad movie wax pack trading cards, so I think it's totally on brand.
How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? Step away from the bike. God!
As I design the artwork, let's talk a little bit about Wooly Willy himself. Wooly Willy was introduced in 1955, and at first glance, it's a curious looking toy. It's a carded, flat product featuring a transparent plastic bubble over a face of a bald, smiling man named Willy. Inside the bubble are tiny black iron filings. Using the included red magnetic stylus, kids can drag the metal shavings into place and give Willy a makeover, adding facial hair, wild hairstyles, and even a unibrow. The only limit is the imagination and the steadiness of your hand. It's a toy that doesn't bleep, blink, or buzz. It doesn't require batteries, and that's part of the charm. It's a very tactile experience of gliding the filings and watching the face transform into whatever crazy hairstyles you can dream up. Did you ever have this toy? Did you play around with other magnetic toys? Let me know by leaving a comment. I remember burying magnets in the playground, collecting bits of iron, and then commanding the iron to dance around like a magician as I waved my magnet over it like a magic wand.
Fucking magnets, how do they work?
Wooly Willy was invented by Donald and James Herzog, two brothers from Smethport, Pennsylvania. They ran the Smethport Specialty Company, a business that primarily made packaging, small toys, and novelties. Don Herzog came up with the idea while experimenting with magnetic powder and making doodles. The Herzog brothers decided to package it in a blister pack with cardboard backing, a new method of presentation that made the toy stand out on toy shelves and protected the iron filings. When Wooly Willy hit the market in 1955, expectations were modest. The Herzog shipped a small batch to C.G. Murphy stores, a popular 5 and dime chain, to test interest. The toy sold quickly, prompting larger orders. By the end of the first year, over 1 million Willy Woolies had been sold. And it wasn't just kids who loved it. Adults found the toy amusing too, and it became a popular desk novelty. Over the decades, it's been featured in gag gifts, party bags, and retro toy collections. Wooly Willy became one of the best-selling novelty toys of the 20th century, alongside icons like the Slinky, Etch-a-Sketch, and Silly Putty. Its appeal was rooted in its simplicity, an interactive toy with no rules, perfect for creativity, repetition, and humor. Its packaging, with Willy's beaming, slightly goofy expression, became instantly recognizable. The name Wooly Willy itself became shorthand for any magnetic toy, and various knockoffs and spin-offs have since appeared, featuring animals, monsters, and other faces. And here we go again, making our own knockoff. In 2016, the toy was honored with a place in the Toy Industry Association's Toy Industry Hall of Fame, further cementing its place in pop culture. The toy originally sold for just 29 cents. Today's originals in mint conditions can fetch some serious money from collectors. While other toys were constantly updated, Wooly Willy's design remained largely unchanged over the decades. Over the years, other characters were introduced such as Hairdo Harriet and Dapper Dan, but none of them achieved the fame of the original Willy. Wooly Willy might not be flashy or high-tech, but it has a magical quality shared by the best toys and invites you to play. Whether you were a child of the 50s or, like me, discovered it decades later, chances are you spent a few minutes crafting handlebar mustaches or a bushy set of eyebrows on Willy's cheerful face and bald head. It's no surprise that Wooly Willy is still around. With the artwork designed, it's time to print everything out and assemble it. I purchased some metal filings, magnets, and rigid plastic straws to make the stylus. One of these days I'm going to build a vacuum form machine, but since I don't have one, I'm going to make it easier on myself and deconstruct an actual Wooly Willy toy. They aren't too expensive, and if you access the artwork, you can follow what I'm doing and make one for yourself. If you follow my newsletter on Substack, you'll get a template to design your own Wooly Willy-esque project for free. You can subscribe at my website at Serkworks.com, where you'll also receive the free Comic Maker Starter Kit, packed with templates, fonts, and even brushes you can use to create your own digital products like this. Select members of my Patreon will receive the front and back artwork and layered Photoshop files for this project and all of my previous projects. Join the fun on Patreon today. Link in the description. Using an X-Acto knife, I'm going to cut through the back of the package. At this point, I'm not really sure where the blister pack is, so I'll cut towards the edges and peel away the paper until I see it. This may take some time, so patience is key. Now that I've removed the blister pack, I'll carefully cut away the paper backing, being sure not to damage the plastic. I'll remove the Wooly Willy art and cut away the excess paper. I'm not sure if I'll need this, but I'll keep it just in case. Next, I'll pour the metal filings into a Ziploc bag and seal it tightly. Even though I purchased a whole bottle of metal filings, it's easier to use the filings that came with the toy, so I don't have to measure the exact amount. You don't want too much, but you don't want too little either. I'm going to soak the blister pack in water so it's easier to remove the excess paper. While I do that, I'm going to print out my designs. The Wooly Willy card back is pretty thick, so I spray mounted artwork for the front of the package to sturdy chipboard. For the back of the package, I spray mounted the design to a light cardstock. I don't want the back to be too thick because you need to access the stylus through the tearaway slot in the back. Now I'm going to mask off the areas of the blister pack that will be visible through the front of the card. I'll hit it with some spray adhesive and ease it into place. Now I'm going to pour the metal filings into the blister pack along with the stylus. I'll place the artwork of the screaming Nicolas Cage face down over the blister pack. To make sure that it's secure and airtight, I'll place Scotch tape around the edges. Masking off a small area where the stylus will sit, I'll spray the inside back of the package with spray adhesive. Remove the mask and carefully align the back side of the package to the front side. I'll lightly press down the edges of the back, careful not to crush the blister pack, but with enough pressure to secure the two pieces together. Now I'll cut away any of the two sides that overlap and round the corners with my X-Acto knife. Last but not least, I'll punch a hole in the top of the card with a T-slot hole punch. And there you have it. Here, have a closer look. You never know with these projects what's going to happen. You may come up with one idea, get thrown for a loop, and then ultimately come up with an even better idea. That's just how the creative process works. If you'd like to see another awesome project take shape, you can click on this video right up here. And there are plenty more retro project builds here on this channel. So hit like and subscribe like Nicolas Cage wearing a bear suit and punching out some hippie cold chick.
What is it? What's wrong, sister?